And I'm back for another episode of Wu-Tang and American Saga Season 3, Episode 7. Now, I know, for the 40 people who watch these videos, I know I skipped Episode 6, Criminology, about Only Built for Cuban Links, and that is by far my favorite Wu-Tang album. I think that's most people's favorite Wu-Tang album, Only Built for Cuban Links. I think that's everybody's favorite. Like, that one was the most solid. There were later ones that I love. Um, Supreme Clientele, Ghostface. However, that wasn't like a purely Wu Tang album per se. It wasn't a purely RZA production. So I can't purely call it my favorite Wu Tang album, but that's a close second. So back to the show. This episode, Shadowboxing, was primarily about Divine. I thought it was going to be solely about Jizza and getting his album Liquid Swords out. And that's like probably my third favorite Wu-Tang album, because Liquid Swords definitely has some of my favorite bangers on there. And Shadowboxing, the title of the episode, is actually my favorite song. Well, maybe my second favorite song on the album, featuring Method Man. And again, I asked this in another video. Where is Method Man? Like, where is he? Where is he? And he's an executive producer on the show. So where is he in all of this? He's not at the house. When it's like 40 dudes, 50 dudes, 60 dudes, 70 women, 80 women, who knows, at this house. Everybody has their crew at the house. But where is Method Man? Somebody drop into the comments and tell me where Method Man is. Maybe he's out there touring. Method Man was a major star. Tikal was popping off. Tikal is not one of my favorite albums. To be honest, the only song that I truly like on Tikal is Bring the Pain. Because I'll never forget, and this is a story that is, I digress a lot. I remember when Tikal was out and I was in Egypt on the student trip. And there was this young white kid with his parents and he kept playing it. And I was like, ugh. Tikal is so mainstream that this little rich white kid with his parents is playing it. But as I digress. So back to Shadowboxing. Divine, it starts off with Divine in LA. And he's meeting with Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola lives all alone. Okay, bad voice, I know. So Tommy Mottola, as we know, was Mariah Carey's husband. Married her as a teenager. It was very suspect, I'm not gonna call him perv, but he was a perv for marrying young Mariah. So he's meeting with Tommy. Divine's meeting with Tommy so that, they can get this razor sharp label on the way. And so, Wu-Tang can start building some independence. They can have their own label. And he also mentions, Tommy's like, well, where is Ghostface? We got to get him signed because I hear he's taking meetings. Divine wasn't aware that Ghost was taking meetings. And he's like taking it back, but he didn't play into it. And he's like, well, I also got this other artist, Capadonna. So he was like, let me in. He puts Capadonna's tape in. I was like, pause. So Tommy Mottola lived at the same place where Maxine Waters, Erica Alexander, also known as RZA and Divine's mom, where she lived in the ODB episode, in this big mansion. This is the same set, same exact set. Tommy Mottola's house, same house. So he puts in Capadonna and Tommy's like, yeah, let's sign him too. Okay, so Divine, makes his way back from the West Coast to the East Coast. RZA's still on the West Coast because he's like kind of communicating, yeah, Divine, what we gonna do? We gotta get you're gonna get Ghost signed. He's like, yeah. So they get, Divine gets back. He gets out of the cab. He goes to the house, and instantly he's on the phone with his assistant, and his baby mama keeps calling Nia, about the birthday party. So Divine says, you know what, clear my schedule for at 2 p.m. I gotta get to my baby's birthday party. So instantly he goes into the house and it's all about business. He's trying to get things done. He gotta find Ghost to sign him. He gotta tell ODB about this Mariah deal, and he has to tell Jizza, you gotta finish that album because Geffen is on my ass, baby. Geffen is on my ass. So he goes in the house and instantly, he sees all the debauchery that keeps going on in this house. All these basic girls and a bunch of dudes, a bunch of hard legs, just randoms everywhere. Raekwon's in the kitchen holding court and, cooking up stuff. And, he's like, yeah. He said, where's Ghost? I don't know. Because, like, that's his main thing. Like, we got to sign Ghost before Ghost signs with somebody else. But Ghost is nowhere to be found. Even Shuri calls, like, where is Ghost? Is he with that girl? I know what it is, but if he with that girl, I don't want to be with that girl. Where is he? And do you know if he's with that girl? Like, I don't know. So then, we see that, he meets up with Jizza, and Jizza is like playing chess by himself. He's like, nah, dog. I mean, son. He didn't say dog because they don't say dog on the East Coast. He said, son, nah, son. I'm playing with RZA. One move a day. Whoa, one move a day. You got to finish this album. It's already done. He has his like cinnamon stick, or was it a mint stick that everybody used to chew on back in the 90s? Yeah, dog. We gotta, I want all Wutang members on this album. You know what, Jizza? You're supposed to be all about the mathematics. What's the mathematics of the day? Not having 9 dudes on your album. That's not the mathematics of the day, Jizza. But go ahead. Do your thing, Jizza. Play your chess. But Jizza lets Divine know, my lyrics are done. It's fine. I just want everybody on the thing. So then he was like, yo, Inspector Deck looming around, like being all creepy. The character playing him being all creepy. He's like, get Deck. Deck wants to work. Get him on this, right? So then, we find out Capadonna is on this, he's signed, Deck, Deck finds out, and he's not too pleased because Deck's been trying to get his album done from jump. He is the one who appears to have the work ethic. I mean, he had his single on, Tales from the Hood album, but he's like, yo, what's going on? And then that's when I realized, I actually saw an interview recently with Capadonna, black chocolate girl, wonder, shake ground like thunder, politic to your different step, give me your number, your sexy persuasion. That is when Capadonna actually became a member of Wu-Tang. So it goes back to Raekwon's question from episode, was that 4 when they were on the bus touring? Is it 8 or is it 9 members? Now it appears to be 10 members, because Capadonna. And to me, I'm like, Raekwon, you were concerned about it being 8 or 9 members, but yet you have Capadonna on one of your tracks. But hey, I'm not one to judge. It's something I observed. And so, speaking of observing, I'm just concerned that the way that this guy is playing, or the way that the director is playing Divine, I'm wondering why. Because to me, it seems like that they are playing Divine to be sort of soft, sort of weak, somebody you can punk. Because Raekwon did punk Divine. Because when Divine approached him about his credit card bill, Raekwon was like, I ain't paying. That's just the cost of doing business. This ain't personal stuff. And he had strip club bills. What was the other bill? But it's like this, it's inspiration. Oh yeah, he had movie bills. It's inspiration. Which in fact, when filing your taxes, especially in the creative world, this is a side note. If you are, like, say for instance, a movie is inspiring your work, then you can write that off at tax time. So Raekwon was absolutely right about it's a write-off. So, but still, he punked Divine. He was like, I ain't paying. And I got my peoples here I'm trying to get put on. So Raekwon ain't paying, and they still don't know where Dennis Ghostface is. So he finally emerges, and he just like, I ain't in the right state of mind, God. I can't talk about this right now, God. And he just walks away, and he locks himself in the bedroom. Then Shuri, who's worried, because she worried about a girl, not necessarily worried about him, his health or whatever was going on with him. She's worried about some other girl, the girl who's been following him on tour, the girl who looks like Megan Good. That's who she's worried about. So Ghostface would not open the door for Divine nor Shuri. And she was like beating on the door. I guess it seemed like the lapse of time was like hours. Like people out there looking at the door like, oh, what's going to happen? Did it not ever cross her mind to kick the door in instantly? Because eventually she kicked the door in. But it's like, I would have done that first. after the first 3 knocks, oh, I'm kicking this door in if I know you in there. So they kicked the door in and they discover that, Ghost is kind of zonked out on the bed, like his eyes are rolling back in his head. He's just not with us. And they're like, oh my God, oh my God. So they call like a medic, a doctor over, and basically they discovered that Ghostface is a diabetic. And that's something that I knew about Ghostface, that he was a diabetic. So that wasn't a shock. I was just wondering if they were going to even present that on the show. And he was like, nah, God, I don't have no sugar. I ain't weak. I don't got the sugar. But, at that time, Fife, the funky diabetic, had already revealed that, he in fact had the sugar. So, and there are a lot of artists walking around with health issues, like, say, the guy who died, Mobb Deep. Why can I think? I feel bad. Prodigy. Yeah. Was it Prodigy who died? I feel so bad. I feel like my hip hop card should be taken from me. Of sickle cell. There's so many people walking around with health issues, but under the guise I'm hard, I'm not gonna let it happen. Jay Dilla eventually passed from symptoms of lupus. So this is a message to black men: keep up with your health, get your health checked. As we know now, Method Man, who's MIA on the show, is like big on weightlifting on Instagram, and Redman is big on. I'm digressing so much, but he's a health guy, vegan, but still smoking that that good stuff. But back to the show. So Shuri is like, I thought you were with that girl. I ain't thinking about her. And he was like, yeah, she went to, LA to be a dancer or something. Then I think she went to Miami or something. I'm like, obviously you were thinking about her because you have this whole storyline where this other girl is. So they, they make up. But here's another thing that was happening on the show. ODB wasn't trying to sign, and ODB found himself a new manager. This manager, I'm like, did you find him at a porn? Can you say that on here? At an adult video store, ODB. Is that where you found this guy? Cause he was like, he seems real sleazy, grimy, slimy white guy. And this guy basically punked Divine. And that's a funny thing. Like, did I mention this? Because it's like not my first time trying to shoot this video. But it's like they're punking Divine as if he's not a career criminal. Like, they're trying to play him as soft. Like, the one in Wu-Tang Clan 2 fuck with him. That's what they're trying to play Divine like. Like, he's just a soft dude. So, essentially, ODB's manager gets ODB to sign for Mariah because ODB was like, I want $1 million. So his slimy manager said he'll do it for $50. And then Divine was like, well, what about this $27,000 charges on his bill? Let's just take it as the cost of doing business. He's like, okay. So it's like, they really like, this was all about punking Divine, this whole episode. So I don't know if they were trying to make Divine seem like he was human and trying to make it seem like he was just doing business just so as a message to the actual Wu-Tang Clan who's watching. Look, Divine wasn't an asshole. He was just trying to get it all right, get the paper on the line because, most of them really still resent Divine. But, that's pretty much everything that happened. I may have missed a few things because I'm just like rambling on, but this is just my take on this episode. The season is coming to a close soon, and the series is actually coming to a close. So I feel like they're just cramming things into each episode. But is the storytelling solid enough? Like and subscribe and drop into the comments and tell me what you thought. Is this episode Wu-Tanging? All right. Tell a friend, tell a friend.